So these are going to be my picks of what are my personal favorites of the music of 2025. So we're going to get right into it because it's going to be a bit of a big list. Number one on there, and this is in no particular order, um, is Golden from the K-pop Demon Hunter soundtrack. Now, while I don't normally enjoy the kind of music that gets extremely popular, there's no doubt that Golden deserves the recognition that it gets. I thought it is a very positive song, very uplifting, but pretty much about being true to yourself and whatnot. And it avoids being cheesy, cliched, and saccharine by having where each of the characters also talk a bit about their struggles, which makes the song a lot more relatable, and it's understandable why so many people love this song, you know? And probably the only song that I would mention that basically a lot of people love, I will admit, because some of my interests do tend to be a bit niche, which, as you see there. Next up, from the Guilty Gear Strive soundtrack, recently added song, well, as of 2025, um, one of three songs. This one being A Tenth of Myself, which is for the character Venom, a guy who was an assassin, gave up that life to become a baker, but then decided to modify his assassin skills to become a vigilante. At least that's what I got from the story. I really should play through his storyline in the game. But yeah, like it is a song that basically goes over Venom's reflections of himself and just choosing like the tenth of himself is like the part of who he is and what makes him him. A lot of it are like metaphors in relation to the past games, but even out of context, you get the idea of who this character is and what makes Venom Venom. You know. Um, Next up, number goes up by the Stipendium. Stipendium's like very popular in various circles, most well known for doing rap and hip hop songs based on video games. But this one, Stipendium takes a bit of a different turn, focusing on the game Balatro, but not just, but Balatro is more of a visual motif and instead goes into the ups and downs of gambling. Very catchy, a nice flow to it, and although he steps away from doing the usual hip hop stuff, going more for, I guess you could call it 70s folk, 60s folk. I don't, I'll be honest, I'm forgetting what exactly to call it, but now it is a good song that is a good way to talk about like the ups and downs of gambling and its trappings. Next up, we get into the VTubers. Ashigan by Galgura and Casey Edwards. Okay, so this is like the last song that she performed under the name of Galgura. Most people when they quit a company, it's either go out with a bang or go out with a whimper. And this song was a huge blast, very emotional. Like she really just lets her voice come out. You know, basically like going against like the what the critics have said about it and all the negativity, and basically also it's also a nice way to bookend that era of Galgura's life, because like she started off with the song Reflect 5 years ago about, and that was more about her internal struggles of whether or not she's going to take the next leap forward, which at least that's the message I got from Reflect. And with this one, it's about like, okay, she did everything that she wanted to do, but there's some struggles and whatnot, and she's gonna be leaving the company, so but not before just letting her emotions out, you know. And Casey Edwards does a great job of giving Galgura's emotions a form to uh basically emote through, I guess you could say. I'm not sure what the right word is would be for this, but yeah, when you go to if it's going to be your last song working with certain people, I think going it like that is how it is. Like it is probably the best way to do it, I would assume. But yeah, it's very powerful, very beautiful, very emotional, you know? Now, with that said, next up is Music Box of Fate. You know, this is an Ironmouth song, and this was written and composed by Starlight and Wonder, Starlight Daryl and Wonder Riku. So basically, they worked with Mouse, incorporating an actual orchestra for the instrumentals. And this becomes like another one that just sounds very personal in a sense, you know, going against the odds for what you love. That's what I got from the song. You know, there's other ways to interpret it, yes, but, you know, such as doing everything you want for who you love, you know, that is another interpretation I heard some people have. But yeah, this is like another one of those that's like very emotional and very beautiful. The opera element and tango element works together very well, complements Mouse's voice very well, and oh my goodness, those high notes she hits, it's just simply gorgeous. Like not enough people have said in relation to that. So yeah. Now I do have one more thing to show. So I'm going to cap this video off with two end-of-year songs of end of the year of 2025 that I find interesting. First up is Mori Calliope in collaboration with Kento Nakajima for the song Gold Unbalanced. Now, there's a lot of songs that Mori released over the course of 2025. And for me, pardon, for me, I'd say I found Gold Unbalanced to be my personal favorite. Although I'm not sure I quite understand because like part of it sounds like a song that's about being a ride or die, but also I might be missing something may be lost in translation. And I read two different lyrical translations, and it's like it still comes off as a song about being a ride or die. And for me, I do find enjoyment in this song. Got good energy to it, and very. I mean, it's kind of popish, but also kind of not. I don't know how to describe it otherwise. And then there's what was it again? Everything Burns by Tom Morello featuring Beartooth. Now I'll be honest, never been a Rage Against the Machine fan, more into Slipknot. But I do enjoy Beartooth, and seeing how Beartooth is involved in the song Everything Burns, I decided, okay, I'll check it out. And I do find it enjoyable. A little bit repetitive, but I think it works, especially since it's supposed to be for the game Final Fantasy XIV. So, like, I wasn't intending to end this with video game music, but here we are. But even then, by itself, like, it stands like a really good track to listen to. Like, another one that's like very energy about like going against the odds. At least that's what I got out of it. I mean, maybe there's more context in relation to Final Fantasy XIV that I don't know about. But other than that, I do think it's a really great song. So yeah, that's it. What's basically my top 7 songs of, well, my favorite 7 songs of 2025. I do think that musicians like these should be checked out, you know, their respective songs. And yeah, that's it. And I will cap this video off with a little bit of the what's obviously my top song of 2025, which is A Tenth of Myself, or a little bit of it. So with all that said, I'm Neko AV Austin, and I thank you for watching.